Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for another Valheim video. In this one, we're going to do something a little different, and whilst I will show you the content as quickly and concisely as I possibly can, like with all my videos, I'll then take the opportunity to talk about the possible things to come. We'll be looking at 3 biomes that are currently in Valheim, but are not yet completed, and what their significance might be in the future. If you find this video useful, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more Valheim tips, guides, and gameplay. I also stream on Twitch every day at the channel on your screens now. Okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about these biomes. So I'm going to preface this by saying that if you're not wanting to see 3 of the more hidden biomes in Valheim and you want to find them yourself, stop watching this video right now. Obviously, these videos will contain spoilers for those of you that aren't very far ahead into the game, and just getting that out there now so that you can leave if you want to. Anyway, if you spent a fair amount of time in Valheim already, you'll know that the meadows, black forest, swamp, ocean, mountain, and plains biomes are the ones that are apparent and finished. What you might not be aware of is that there's actually 3 more biomes available to explore which aren't quite finished just yet. The first one is the Deep North, which is pretty much exactly what you'd expect it to be. It's found in the far north reaches of your map, complete with freezing temperatures, lots of snow, and rough terrain. Interestingly, this biome also has glaciers that spawn around the edges of the landmass. They can be destroyed, but don't give you any resources to use currently. I'm not sure if this is planned in the future, but the fact that you can destroy them certainly hints to that. Right now, this biome is completely void of any creatures and doesn't have a current soundtrack either. We don't know too much about what's to come for this biome, but if I had to hazard a guess, I'd think that polar bears might be likely. It's also a possibility that the Deep North might be added to in the second large update shown on the Valheim roadmap called the Cult of the Wolf. The only reason I say this is that we already know wolves frequent the mountain biomes, which is equally as snowy and cold as the Deep North. Could we expect the cult to be focused around the Deep North based on the fact that the mountains biome already has creatures and a boss? Who knows, but it's worth considering. As for what we can find in this biome in terms of loot, I really have no idea on this one, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I'd also take a wild stab in the dark that the Fenring will also be involved in this expansion, which are essentially those werewolf creatures that you might have found in the mountains biomes at night. Next up is a biome that can, by contrast to the Deep North, be found in the far south reaches of your world, the Ashlands. We have a bit more of an inclination as to some of the building blocks for this zone's progression already. Mobs are already in the zone, which you might have seen once or twice during your playthrough already. The zone is riddled with Surtlings, so I wouldn't recommend an expedition here unless you're well prepared, and fire resistance barley wine could be handy too. Now, none of the major updates clearly link to the Ashlands based on their names alone, unless you consider that the first update, Hearth and Home, might have something to do with the Surtlings and the fire of the Ashlands, but I think that's a pretty bold assumption and a bit of a reach. All we know right now is it's going to be focused around building and bases. Unlike the Deep North, we do, however, have some farmable resources in this biome. Every so often, you'll come across a meteorite, which can be mined with an iron pickaxe to give you flamemetal, yeah, that stuff. Anyway, throw this into your blast furnace and you'll be given ingots of the same. Currently, this has no use, but the Ashlands is currently the only one of these 3 biomes with an ore that can be mined and smelted down. This again drives me to believe that the Ashlands will be one of the first we see finished, backed by the fact that there are mobs and materials already implemented. All we really need to see now is a boss, and maybe some extra things around the biome to keep us occupied. Again, if you've got any thoughts on when this biome might come into play and what we could expect to see, just let me know in the comments. Speculation is the name of the game. Lastly, our third and final biome is the Mistlands. Now, this is one that we have confirmed on the roadmap already, and is going to be the focus of update number 4, so we're quite a way out from this one being realized. The Mistlands looks like a swamp biome at a distance, but can be distinguished by larger trees and the cobwebs that are strung between them. With that in mind, I'd be willing to put down a pretty large bet that we're going to see some spiders, or spider-based humanoids, to fight inside this area of the world. The biome is covered in ancient roots, which pops up with a name when hovering your cursor over them, like many other harvestable materials. Again, this hints to this being part of the reason we come to this biome later down the line. Explore enough of the landscape and you'll also find these giant skulls lying around as well, currently with no purpose or known origin, so that adds an extra spooky layer to it. Can we expect the giant skulls to be of significance later? Maybe a hint towards a boss? Who knows? But at the very least, we know roughly when to expect this update, and it's not for quite a while yet. That's it from me in this one, guys. These were all 3 of the biomes you can currently find in Valheim that are unfinished and yet to be given life or purpose. Make sure you check out the channel for some more videos, and I will see you all in the next one.